The next morning I find a note from Umbridge waiting for me on my desk. The sharp, overly neat handwriting practically sneers up at me. A meeting to discuss curriculum changes with Minerva, Severus, and herself. I fold the note carefully and slip it into my robe pocket, trying to steel myself for whatever storm she's preparing to brew. I step into the Great Hall, and even after being here since a few weeks, I still can't help but pause for a moment to take it all in. There's a magic to this castle that never loses its weight or its sense of grandeur. Severus sits at the staff table. His posture is impeccable and unreadable, as always. He cradles a cup of tea, and the steam is curling lazily upward, while his dark eyes skim over the Daily Prophet. He doesn't look up when I take my seat, offering no indication that he has received the same summons. Minerva meets my eyes. She gives me a subtle, understanding nod, one that says, "I know this is unpleasant, but we'll face it together." I return it with a small, grateful smile. Breakfast feels like an exercise in restraint. I do not eat. I rarely eat breakfast, and on days like this, I definitely can't take a bite. I try to focus on the warmth of the tea in my hands, but Umbridge's pink-clad presence looms in my mind like a shadow I can't shed.
I fold the pink parchment with deliberate precision, tucking it neatly aside. Of course. Dolores Umbridge's gaudy handwriting is unmistakable, a mockery of refinement where every curve of her quill is screaming for attention. A muscle twitches at my jaw. A discussion about curriculum changes. It is no discussion at all. It's a performance, carefully staged to parade her authority, to remind us all where she imagines power lies. I lift my tea, take a slow sip, and let the bitter warmth steady me. My eyes skim the headlines of the newspaper, but I'm not reading. No, my thoughts are already 3 steps ahead, piecing together the inevitable charade she has prepared. She enters the hall. I don't need to look up to know. Her presence seeps into the air. That cloying perfume is already reaching the hod table. Disgusting. I ignore her, as I ignore most things unworthy of my time. Still, a flicker of movement at the edge of my vision draws my attention. You. You try to lose yourself in the ceiling's enchantment, but I can feel a weight that is pressing down on you. Not that I intend to offer comfort. I take another sip of tea. Calm. Always calm. Whatever idiocy Umbridge has prepared, I will remain unmoved. If she imagines she can bend me, she is a greater fool than I thought. Minerva rises, dignified as ever, and I follow without a word. The corridor echoes with our steps, cool and quiet. Let's see what fresh nonsense she has concocted for us today.
After breakfast, I fall into step beside Minerva. Severus glides silently behind us, and we make our way through the corridors toward Minerva's office. The weight of what's to come sits heavy on my shoulders. I hate how she twists words. We arrive at Minerva's office. The soft ticking of the clock on her wall feels unusually loud and is filling the silence as I glance around. Umbridge is nowhere to be seen yet, and I feel a ripple of relief wash over me. But that relief is fleeting. I know she'll appear soon enough. Like a storm you can smell before the clouds gather, she's inevitable.
Good, she is not here yet. Shall we discuss those curriculum changes properly?
Excellent. I've been drafting some proposals to protect the students from her questionable methods.
I nod and take the parchment from her. The ink is barely dry. We all know why we're here. To prepare, to shield the students as best we can. I trace the words with my eyes, but the tension in my stomach keeps me from fully focusing. And then, without warning, the door slams open with a violent crack. The bang makes me flinch, and my head snaps up. Umbridge fills the doorway in a swirl of pink and false sweetness, though her face is anything but sweet. Her fury paints her features sharp and jagged.
What is this? A secret meeting without my knowledge?
There is nothing secret about this, madam. You summoned us here. You were late, and we've simply started already. I let my gaze drift deliberately to the clock on the wall, then back to her, a silent challenge. Her face reddens, an alarming shade of pink that clashes with her already girlish attire. Her features twist in restrained outrage. The facade of her sweet demeanour is cracking.
I was attending to important matters, and you dare question my punctuality?
Of course not. I knew you must have more important things to handle, and we didn't want to disturb you or waste time, so we started ahead. I force a friendly smile, but my eyes are cold as steel, and I hope she notices. I want her to.
I observe quietly, leaning back in my chair with my hands folded. She has gall, this one. Standing against that pink toad is no small task, but she makes it look effortless. There's a sharpness in your words, an edge that slices through Umbridge's shrill bluster like a knife through butter. Dolores, as always, is a caricature of herself, an overinflated ego in pastel pink, so desperate to command respect that she smothers the air around her. I feel disdain coil in my chest. Her power is a performance, like a child that is waving a shiny trinket and calling it a crown. But you? You meet Dolores's venom with icy calm and razor wit, never raising that voice and never faltering. Most quail under Umbridge's saccharine cruelty, yet you don't bend. Instead, you are dancing on that thin line between defiance and danger with a startling precision like I've never seen before. And I can't deny that I like to watch how you balance that wit.
Well, I am here now. What exactly are you discussing that requires my absence?
Requires your absence? You hurt me, Dolores. We barely manage without your guidance. My tone drips with mock sincerity, but she's too blinded by her own self-importance to hear the sting beneath the words. Minerva coughs discreetly into her hand. Her eyes are twinkling with amusement. I catch Severus raising an eyebrow at my audacity, and my troth almost betrays me with a chuckle.
Don't be cheeky with me, Professor. I am the High Inquisitor.
I know. You keep telling us daily. And it's addressed on your shield, that beautiful gold, copper-looking one.
This is a symbol of authority, not a mere accessory, and I expect respect from all staff members.
I was merely admiring it. I'm tilting my head slightly, feigning innocence. Inside, though, I feel rebellious and sharp, a dangerous cocktail that is bubbling beneath my calm expression. Her indignation only fuels it further. Expecting respect, she says. But little does she know that expecting and deserving are two different things.
She's provoking her, testing the waters, pushing Dolores just far enough to see how she snaps. Bold and reckless, but calculated. I can see it in your eyes. This isn't mere insolence, it's strategy. and Dolores is too self-absorbed to recognize it. Yes, we're all quite envious of your shiny trinket. Now, if you're done interrupting, perhaps you'd like to join us. Dolores huffs at my words, puffing up like an offended owl, but she finally takes her seat. Her beady eyes dart suspiciously between us. Her paranoia is palpable. I exhale softly through my nose. Enough of this charade. This is already dragging on far too long. I want it done, finished, so I can return to my office, away from her voice, her annoying perfume, and her overall presence. Minerva hands her the parchment we'd been reviewing. I watch silently, fingers steepled, as Dolores's eyes skim the neatly written proposals. Predictably, her expression tightens with each line she reads, her lips curling into that saccharine frown.
These are outrageous. We can't teach such dangerous spells and potions to children.
I lean forward slightly. Which one do you find too dangerous? She jabs a pudgy finger toward a section of the parchment that details advanced defensive magic and potions, as though the ink itself might bite her.
This entire section. It's practically encouraging students to fight back against authority.
Fight back authority? I tilt my head ever so slightly, feigning confusion. But the subject is called Defense Against the Dark Arts, Madam Umbridge. The dark arts are not authority, are they? Her face darkens to a shade that clashes horribly with her pink cardigan. She splutters, searching for words, and I can almost hear the crack in her composure.
Don't play semantics with me. The Ministry has deemed these spells inappropriate for children. That's final.
Playing is for children, Madam Umbridge. I lean back in my chair, folding my arms loosely, as though this is casual. I am deathly serious. The way I hear it from you, you're saying that authority equals dark arts. I let the implication hang in the air like a blade dangling over her head. She's not the only one who can twist words to her advantage. Let's see how she likes the taste of her own tactics.
Intriguing. You're clever. Clever enough to use Dolores's own poison against her, and you wield that defiance like a scalpel, sharp and deliberate. I am almost impressed. Dolores's eyes flicker, wide for a moment as the meaning of those words sinks in. The pink toad is cornered, and I find myself profoundly entertained.
How dare you? I am not associated with those dark wizards. I am fighting for the safety of our society.
I know, and you're doing a wonderful job at that indeed. And we need to teach those children how to do that too. Isn't that right?
Well, that's not...
I suppress a smirk, and I am biting down hard on my amusement. Her face is puffing up like a furious toad. It's a rare pleasure to see Dolores Umbridge lose her footing. My respect for you, standing so calmly before Dolores's storm, deepens. You are fearless, or perhaps simply tired of playing by the rules Dolores invented. Either way, you're dangerous in a way I can appreciate. You're not groveling or cowering, you're winning, and Merlin, it is satisfying to watch.
Very well. Then we'll continue with this new, approved curriculum. I stand up and push my chair back with deliberate grace. I'll go now and prepare my lesson. A glance at the clock tells me my first class is in 10 minutes. Perfect timing. I nod curtly. An amused smile is tugging at my lips as I catch Severus's eyes. There's the faintest ghost of a smirk there, a rare expression, but one that makes the corners of my mouth twitch even more. Minerva looks as though she's choking back a laugh. Her eyes are sparkling behind her glasses.
I incline my head slightly. I'll see you at lunch.
I give him a smile and curt nod, turn to Minerva, offering her a knowing nod, and then sweep from the room with more calm than I entered. Behind me, I can hear Dolores sputtering incoherently. Her voice is rising in shrill protest as she struggles to regain her footing. Minerva's voice, hushed and amused, carries faintly to my ears as I close the door.
That was brilliant. I should have recorded it.
The corners of my mouth lift in a small, satisfied smile as I make my way down the corridor, leaving the chaos in my wake. The echo of Umbridge's sputtering protest still lingers in my mind, almost like music. The image of her pink, pinched face, so used to being in control, flushed with outrage, is deeply satisfying. Perhaps I shouldn't feel this smug, but after enduring her endless interference, it feels earned. The morning tension lingers faintly in my chest, a reminder of how delicate this balancing act is. Pushed too far, and I risk more than her wrath. But hold back, and she'll walk all over me, and my students. No, this was necessary. A quiet victory, one I can savor, even if just for today. The rest of the day flows by in a smooth ripple. My classes run efficiently, but students whisper about rumours of how Umbridge lost her footage, and though I don't fuel them, I can't help the faint smile tugging at my lips. The corridors feel lighter, as though the castle itself approves of someone finally standing their ground. Evening arrives with a soft hum of conversation in the Great Hall. I settle at the staff table, allowing myself a quiet moment of calm after the day's victories. Umbridge sweeps past me, and I catch the rustle of her skirts and the faint scent of that overpowering perfume. Dolores doesn't even try to hide the venom in her tone as she mutters, loud enough for me and half the table to hear.
I will be reporting this insubordination to the ministry.
I don't bother to look up and simply continue cutting into my food with exaggerated calm. Let her report it. Let her stomp and flail and write her scathing letters. She can try all she likes. It won't shake me.
Well done, Professor. I didn't think anyone had the courage to stand up to her like that. I glance at you. Really glance. There's an edge to your composure today, but also a steadiness, a strength I hadn't fully appreciated until this morning. I feel something shift in my assessment of you. Respect, grudging but undeniable.
I meet Severus's gaze for a moment, catching that flicker of respect, maybe intrigue, in his otherwise stoic expression. The corners of my lips twitch into a faint, grateful smile before I return to my meal, pretending I didn't notice. But I do notice, and more than once, I catch him looking at me when he thinks I'm not watching. It's subtle, but not lost on me. Perhaps there is more to him than that cold, harsh exterior. And I must also admit that he is unlike every other man I've ever met. Most try to impress me, flirt, and overall exaggerate in their behavior. He does nothing of that.
I lean in slightly, my voice is low and meant only for you. You're quite formidable, perhaps even more so than you let on. There's a sharpness to the words, but it's not a threat, it's a compliment, carefully veiled. You startle slightly, straightening up just as I notice Dumbledore's calm gaze from across the table.
I believe we're in for quite the show this year.
Dumbledore's cryptic messages always make my jaws tighten. Quite a show, he says. Perhaps he is right. You certainly are a spectacle, even if you don't intend to be. But your wit, calmly delivered, is more entertaining than the attempts of first years trying to speak gobbledygook.